Return Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya or face us at ICC, International Criminal Court. Hear the news.
The Kenyan government has now issued a formal ultimatum to Nigeria. Return Nnamdi Kanu to Kenya within 7 days, or face international legal action and global sanctions. This isn't just diplomacy. It's a full-blown diplomatic crisis between two of Africa's powerhouses. And the world is watching. On June 20, 2025, Kenya's Ministry of Foreign Affairs shocked the continent. In a formal communiqué delivered to the Nigerian High Commission in Nairobi, they wrote, "Nigeria must correct the illegality committed on our soil, or face full consequences as outlined under international treaties." Attached was a 7-day deadline, demanding either Kanu's safe return to Kenya, or a public admission and compensation agreement brokered by the AU. The tone was unapologetic. The demand, legally binding. This was no longer a court ruling. It was a sovereign order. So why now? Behind closed doors, pressure has been mounting. Human rights organizations have flooded Kenya's inboxes. The UK, where Kanu is a citizen, has quietly pushed for action. Kenyan lawyers argue that ignoring the ruling makes their own judiciary look powerless. But most of all, Kenya's new government wants to restore its continental credibility. They don't want to be remembered as the nation where African law was ignored for political convenience. And Nnamdi Kanu has become the symbol of that struggle. In Abuja, silence. Officially, the Tinubu administration has refused to respond. But sources inside the Ministry of Justice say panic has set in. Why? Because a public confrontation with Kenya could trigger sanctions from the African Union Legal Commission, damage Nigeria's influence in ECOWAS, and risk losing key partnerships with the UK, EU, and even the US. More dangerously, if the case reaches the International Court of Justice, Nigeria could be tried, not Kanu, for illegal rendition. Let's talk about sanctions. Kenya's warning references the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Conduct and the Rome Statute, under which unlawful transfer is a crime. If escalated, Nigeria could face travel bans for top officials, asset freezes in EU/UK zones, suspension from AU human rights panels, and blocked military/security aid from Western allies. Is this likely? Not overnight. But if Britain, Kenya, and human rights groups present a united front, Nigeria will have to choose Kanu or its standing in the world. IPOB's reaction. A chilling statement, released within hours. If Nigeria does not return our leader, the world will see that we are governed by outlaws. They've called for mass protests across Biafra territory, peaceful sit-ins in UK embassies, legal filings in British and Kenyan courts simultaneously. Kanu's legal team, emboldened by Kenya's move, has now petitioned the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention. The net is tightening. 7 days. That's all Kenya has given. 7 days to fix what it calls a crime on its soil. 7 days for Nigeria to choose between legal honor or political ego. 7 days before this internal crisis becomes a global storm. What will happen on day 8? Will Kanu walk free? Will Nigeria apologize? Or will Africa witness a breakdown in law between two sovereign states? The clock is ticking, and every second counts. Day 1 of Kenya's ultimatum. The deadline has been set. The world is watching. And the stakes? Nothing less than Africa's diplomatic balance. This isn't just a legal showdown anymore. It's becoming a continental chess match between Kenya and Nigeria. Two powerful nations locked in a confrontation that could shape the future of African justice. In Nairobi, Kenya's Foreign Minister, Muchua Komanda, stood before the press. We will not allow our sovereignty or our judicial system to be disrespected. Nigeria has 7 days. That is our position, and it is final. Behind the scenes, a diplomatic firestorm has erupted. The Nigerian High Commission requested a closed-door negotiation, but Kenya refused, demanding a formal apology before any discussion. Sources inside Kenya's cabinet reveal there's no intention of backing down. Not this time. In Abuja, the response has been carefully muted. The Nigerian government has not issued an official counter-statement, but internal leaks paint a different picture. We don't respond to ultimatums, one senior aide told reporters of the record. Kenya can't dictate how we manage national security. Instead, the strategy appears clear. Buy time. Test Kenya's resolve. And lean on AU allies to prevent escalation. But that strategy may already be unraveling. The standoff is pulling in regional actors fast. South Africa has called for a diplomatic resolution rooted in African unity. Ghana has offered to mediate quietly. But Rwanda and Uganda, both critics of forced extraditions, have backed Kenya's legal stance. Meanwhile, the African Union Legal Affairs Commission has called an emergency session to review Nigeria's compliance with the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. And for the first time in years, Nigeria's diplomatic dominance is being questioned. Far beyond Africa, the story has hit the global radar. The BBC and Al Jazeera now run daily segments on the Kanu rendition crisis. In the UK, pressure is mounting on the Foreign Office to demand accountability. A leaked memo from a European Parliament Human Rights Committee reads: if Nigeria ignores Kenya's court ruling, it undermines every treaty on African and international justice. The US State Department has requested a formal human rights briefing from Nigeria. Nigeria is not just under pressure from Kenya. It's now facing scrutiny from the entire international community. Back home, in Nigeria's southeast, protests have resumed. Louder, larger, more organized than before. In cities like Abia, Enugu, and Onitsha, youths chant, "Return him or face the storm." Kenya obeyed the law, Nigeria must too. Even moderate voices are growing bold. Igbo elders, traditional rulers, and clergy are now calling for a peaceful resolution, and for Nigeria to honor the law. It's no longer a fringe demand. It's a regional cry for justice. 2 nations, 1 man, 7 days. With 5 days left, the pressure is unbearable. Nigeria must choose. Stand tall and isolated, or bend and survive. Will diplomacy win? Will power override law? Or will Africa be forced to watch one of its greatest powers fall under the weight of a single misstep? It started with a quiet ruling in Nairobi. It grew into a tense standoff between 2 African nations. And now, it has erupted onto the world stage. The United Kingdom, the African Union, even the United Nations. One by one, they've entered the arena. And Nigeria is finding itself more isolated than ever. This is no longer just about Nnamdi Kanu. This is about Africa's credibility and Nigeria's international standing. On day 3 of Kenya's deadline, a shock statement comes from London. UK Foreign Secretary delivers a direct message. The United Kingdom is concerned by the unlawful transfer of a British citizen. We urge Nigeria to engage with all parties and international law. It's subtle, but unmistakable. This is Britain siding with Kenya. British MPs take it further, demanding sanctions on Nigerian officials if Kanu is not returned. The House of Commons schedules a hearing on Nigeria's breach of international conventions concerning UK citizens. For the first time, Nigeria's biggest diplomatic partner is questioning its trust. Then, Nairobi gets a boost. The AU's Legal and Political Affairs Commission meets in Addis Ababa. And in a 5-2 decision, they issue a damning advisory. Member states must respect cross-border legal rulings. Any breach weakens the continental judicial order. Translation: Nigeria's rendition of KANU was illegal under AU Charter law. Several AU states call for a continental penalty system for those who violate internal court decisions. Kenya is no longer alone. The AU is behind them. And Nigeria is now on trial by its peers. Meanwhile, at the UN Human Rights Council, a petition arrives, filed by KANU's UK legal team, and signed by multiple African human rights groups. The accusation: extraordinary rendition, violation of due process, unlawful detention. The Working Group on Arbitrary Detention begins its review. If they issue an opinion condemning Nigeria, it could trigger global travel restrictions, its suspensions, asset freezes under international human rights clauses, and worse, if the International Criminal Court picks up the case, Nigerian officials could be indicted. This has gone far beyond Abuja's control. Privately, Nigeria is scrambling. Inside Aso Rock, diplomatic cables fly back and forth. Top Nigerian envoys are dispatched to Pretoria to lobby South Africa, Accra to pressure Ghana to stay neutral, Addis Ababa to beg the AU not to escalate. A back channel opens with the British High Commission offering a quiet deal. KANU stays, but gets softer prison conditions. But Britain refuses. Kenya refuses. The pressure is not easing. It's increasing. Now, the question is no longer what happened. It's what happens next. If Nigeria refuses to return KANU, it may lose voting power in AU sessions. Its leadership may face visa bans across the EU and UK. Ongoing international loans and aid could be halted. And most painfully, foreign investment confidence will plummet. The IMF and World Bank quietly express concern. Multinationals begin reevaluating partnerships. And headlines around the world now use one phrase: Nigeria versus the law. Kenya stood its ground. And now, the world is standing with it. From London to Geneva, from Addis Ababa to New York, the call is the same. Return KANU, follow the law. Respect the court. Nigeria is powerful. But even the powerful are not above process. In the next episode, we enter day 4, and things start to fall apart within Nigeria itself. The pressure outside is high. But inside, the cracks are beginning to show. While the world demands justice, inside Nigeria, another war is unfolding. Quiet, fierce, and dangerously unstable. It's not on the streets yet. Not on the front pages. But inside Aso Rock, inside the military, and within the ruling party, a power struggle is exploding. Kenya may have started the countdown. But Nigeria's own crisis, it's now fueling the fire. President Tinubu's inner circle is at war with itself. 3 camps are now clashing. The legalists urging immediate release or a diplomatic return of KANU to Kenya. The hardliners demanding total defiance and arrest of protest leaders. The survivors looking for a middle ground that protects Tinubu's legacy. Tempers flare in private meetings. Intelligence reports say the president has ordered no public comment. A silence that reflects internal chaos more than strategy. One insider tells Africa Black Box, no one knows what the president will do next. Not even the president. Behind the curtain, Nigeria's powerful security agencies are also divided. The Department of State Services, DSS, believes KANU's continued detention is a national security necessity. But a faction of the military now questions whether the crisis is worth the fallout. A leaked internal memo from the defense headquarters reads, if regional rebellion escalates, we are not prepared for a multi-front domestic response. Translate